Republicans are making clear that they have no interest in hearing the truth about Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. As the president faced a growing crisis over the sexual assault allegations against his Supreme Court nominee, he flew to North Carolina to survey damage from Hurricane Florence. And as usual, he was super weird about it. At one point, according to reporters, Trump crossed the street to a small brick house where he stopped to greet an older man in a T-shirt. Behind the house, a large yacht had washed ashore and was shipwrecked against the wooden deck. Trump gazed at the yacht, saying, "Is this your boat?" The owner said no. Trump turned and replied with a smile, "At least you got a nice boat out of the deal." Oh my God, I swear Trump could see a guy jump off a building and think, "Oh cool, free shoes." And in case you think Trump was just kidding, he later told reporters, "I think it's incredible what we're seeing. This boat just came here. They don't know whose boat that is. What's the law? Maybe it becomes theirs." Yes, who could forget the famous Supreme Court case of Finders v. Keebers? This is the guy. That right there is the guy who gets to pick our next Supreme Court justice, a man who thinks that, legally speaking, if a boat shows up on your lawn, you get to keep it. And yet, it's very much the case that Republicans are hoping Trump will be able to reshape the Supreme Court for a generation by rushing to get his nominee Brett Kavanaugh confirmed, despite the credible sexual assault allegations against him. Republicans have been engaged in a 40-year project to install a conservative majority on the court, and Kavanaugh's nomination was supposed to be the crowning achievement in that project. And Trump was very proud of his choice, although he mainly seemed concerned with whether Kavanaugh looked the part.
Hopefully everything goes very well with Judge Kavanaugh. He's central casting. You know, 10 years ago they said he'll be a Supreme Court judge. Justice Kavanaugh is doing great. Looks like, I don't know, very tough. Central casting.
I don't know. If he really came from central casting, they wouldn't make him a Supreme Court justice. They'd make him the manager on Superstore. And if you think Kavanaugh would never lie, here he is in his first remarks as a Supreme Court nominee in order to shamelessly suck up to Trump.
Mr. President, thank you. Throughout this process, I've witnessed firsthand your appreciation for the vital role of the American judiciary. No president has ever consulted more widely or talked with more people from more backgrounds to seek input about a Supreme Court nomination.
There is absolutely no way that is true. He might as well have said, "No president has ever looked better in a white polo." But Kavanaugh was willing to lie to please his boss because he's been a loyal partisan Republican for most of his career. Someone conservatives know they'll be able to depend on to implement their agenda. Trump himself even claimed he'd heard Kavanaugh's name mentioned as a possible Supreme Court justice for years.
He's an outstanding intellect. He's an outstanding judge. He was born for the position. I heard as long as 10 years ago, people were saying he should be a Supreme Court judge. I didn't know him at the time, but I was hearing from a lot of people, friends of mine from Washington and other places, saying that Brett Kavanaugh should be a Supreme Court judge someday.
No. You did not hear people saying Brett Kavanaugh should be a Supreme Court justice 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you were yelling at Gary Busey for stealing Meatloaf's art supplies. Kavanaugh's nomination was the culmination of a decades-long ideological project to reshape the court. And Republicans are making it clear that they want to see that project through, even if it means ignoring a credible allegation of sexual assault. Trump was asked about the allegations against Kavanaugh made by Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. Trump said he wanted the process to play out while making clear he was firmly behind Kavanaugh.
We are looking to get this done as quickly as possible. He is a truly outstanding person, as you know. He is an incredible man. He's an incredible intellect. He will make an incredible Supreme Court justice, but we feel that we want to go through a process. We want to hear both sides. He can handle himself better than anybody. He's a very outstanding man. Thank you.
So you still
Thank you.
He knows you support him.
Oh, I'm totally supportive. Yes, I'm very supportive.
You can't say you want a fair and open process, but also that you're supportive of one side. He's like a ref at the Super Bowl saying, let's have a good, clean game so we can get that handsome Tom Brady another trophy. The White House is trying to have it both ways. They're trying to insulate Trump from the political fallout if Kavanaugh's nomination blows up, while also standing firmly behind their Supreme Court nominee. In fact, on Monday, Kavanaugh was at the White House for 9 hours of meetings, but White House staff made sure to keep Trump away from him.
Inside the White House, they were hunkered down, closely monitoring everything, but keeping the judge away from meeting with President Trump, who was nearby in the Oval Office meeting with officials as well. They don't meet, Chris, based on my reporting, because they want to protect the president.
So Kavanaugh was in the building all day, and they had to keep Trump away from him. That means that for 9 hours, it was someone's job inside the White House to keep Trump distracted. Okay, guys, gonna be a long day. Get me 3 remote controls, an issue of Jugs magazine, and a cheeseburger on a string. Damn you, cheeseburger. The cheeseburger won't stand still. The Republicans' gambit here is to make it seem like they want a fair and open process, but in reality, they want it to look like a he said, she said, so they can just ignore it and move on. They won't even interview witnesses or let the FBI investigate. They made it clear that they either don't believe Ford's story or don't care. In fact, GOP senators are already insisting that Ford must have gotten her story wrong, or that she might be doing this for political purposes.
If Ms. Ford really did not want to come forward, never intended to come forward, never planned to come forward, why did she pay for a polygraph in August, and why did she hire a lawyer in August if she never intended to do what she's doing?
Senator Cornyn this morning saying that there are gaps in her story, appear to be gaps in her story.
Do you think that this in any way is going to derail his nomination?
No, he's a straight shooting, honest guy. I think when people listen to him, they'll know that he's all right.
And do you think that any of these claims are legitimate?
No, I don't. I think this woman, or whoever she is mixed up.
I love these old-ass senators claiming other people are mixed up. Just to give you some perspective, here's that same Senator, Orrin Hatch, asking Mark Zuckerberg a question about Facebook at a hearing earlier this year.
How do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
I see.
Okay. But how do you get all the faces inside the book? And where do you print this book? Can I get the book at Barnes & Noble? How many pages is the book? How much does the book cost? Is the book available on Kindle? And a follow-up question, what's a Kindle? Republicans are making it as clear as possible. They don't actually have an interest in hearing the truth of what happened. They're rushing to get a man accused of sexual assault on the Supreme Court because it's the culmination of a 40-year project to solidify their conservative majority for a generation. If you're looking for villains, these guys are straight out of
Central Casting.
This has been A Closer Look.